Headphones on, let's do this.
Hey, do you know of a podcast I could listen to that has nerd and comic books and stuff? I really can't find one.
I say, you ever heard of the Nerd Dome podcast?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Dome Podcast, episode 274. I am your podcast without fear, Luke, and today I am joined with that uncanny guy.
We are so old. 274?
Basically.
So old.
And
I am the alliterative Andrew.
And we have a special guest with us today. Oh, this is going to be awesome. We are
Marvelous.
professionals. Oh, there she is. Yes. She's caught up. Maybe.
Nope.
Maybe.
Nope.
She's gone. All right. Off to a great start. All right. So, how you guys been this week?
Oh, I've been doing well. It's been a slow week, but there's been a lot of news. And so that always causes that good old existential dread.
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
someone want to just go quackers. Anyway. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm okay. Fine. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals.
Oh, yeah? Who do you main in Marvel Rivals?
It depends on my mood.
Mhm.
Right?
I've become really good with Scarlet Witch.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I can MVP things with Scarlet Witch. But I have never gotten that good in a PvP game like this before ever.
Well, that's awesome.
Probably because she requires no skill, but
Oh, I should try her then. I was having a lot of luck with Squirrel Girl.
really easy.
I always play with Jeff.
Jeff's
I'm
very
that guy.
good.
Jeff is fun. Did you have a lantern ring on, Ryan, or did I see something different? Okay, cool.
Nice.
Excellent. That's what I thought I saw. Hey, our guest is back.
Hey,
I'm so sorry. I don't know why my laptop or my internet or this streaming platform, I don't know. Something is just hateful today. It
Bezos?
doesn't want to work. Gotta blame somebody, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's see, introduce yourself.
Oh, yes, of course. Hi. I'm Marley. I've been on the show before a couple times. It's been a while, but I've been here before. And I let's see, what podcast? I guess the only podcast I really have left anymore is Heroes of Hell's Kitchen. So check us out. We talk about Daredevil because he's the
Awesome.
best.
See, I've been saying it, and now I've got validation. It's fine. So Marley, you said you haven't played Marvel Rivals yet, right?
Correct, because Daredevil's not in it.
Yeah, and so Ryan, besides Scarlet Witch, who's your other go-to?
So, so Scarlet Witch is my best like DPS character, and then if I'm healing, I'm okay with Jeff or Mantis, and then if I'm tanking, I am okay with Doctor Strange, and I want to be better with Magneto, because I just want to be better with Magneto.
Who is Jeff?
the land shark.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep. Your name is Jeff. Yeah, no. I saw I haven't dived into it to see if it's actually true or not, but the always the leaked new characters, and they had the Professor X one,
Yeah.
which could be fun. I just hope one of his attacks is give anxiety to alternate player or to other teams' players where they remember something that was very awkward from their teens. So
I'm
That's
very
quite a
excited for
super.
Phoenix to be added because I don't care what how good or bad of a character she is. I'm going to main her because
I
that
get
will be
that.
just what I
I'd do that with Howard the Duck for obvious reasons.
yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I saw Cyclops and I was
I like
like,
his
why has he
hat.
just got regular goggles on? Like they're just regular goggles, but I mean, cool. If he's sure.
I think when they do add Daredevil, it'll be particularly challenging to play with just a black screen and only sound.
Right? Or they give you a wireframe version. Yeah.
I saw a it was because I know Iron Fist is a menace in the game.
Yeah, I'm okay with him. I want to be better with him too.
Yeah, and they said that it was like me when they put Daredevil in the game and they played the the sequence from Defenders when he's punching him in the face repeatedly in the warehouse. Yeah, that I was like, that'll be fun. I'll be terrible with him, but if he ever makes it into the game, that's where I'm going. But until then, because I know Cyclops is going to be there, so I'll roll with that until Daredevil gets in. But I guess this is a good segue. Speaking of Daredevil, we got the trailer for Born Again. It was the one that was released at D23, I believe, that finally came out to us normal folk. So we'll let Marley go first and see how she felt about the trailer.
I felt very happy. Like just that whole day, I was just so happy and I couldn't stop smiling because it looks so good. It looks violent and dirty and gritty and it's like everything we want. No, I'm just kidding. But also yes, especially in Daredevil. Like we don't want Disney to just fluff it, right? We want our Daredevil, like our Netflix Daredevil. And I think it looks like it's going to be that way, but let's just hope they don't screw it up.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm very excited. I'm the target audience for this. So no matter what they would have put up there, just like when Sonic 1 came out and they had, human leg Sonic, I was like, okay, let's go. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. Just from the trailer, looks like there's probably 4 or 5 different comic storylines that they are throwing in there. Between hey, don't even try me. I'll pull out my omnibus.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, looks like they're pulling in a little bit from Born Again. They're pulling in a little bit from the Charles Soule stuff with Muse. Some of the
is that who that
Mayor.
new character is? I didn't read the
Mhm.
Charles Soule run.
Yeah, he's Muse. A lot like he's a character that kills people to make art. He just mutilates body to make art. He was a really
Is he
interesting
Sander
character.
Cohen?
No.
I don't know if anyone knows that reference.
No.
BioShock? Anyone?
Oh,
Anyone?
I didn't play.
Oh. Yes. That's been a long time since I played that game.
He turns people into statues to make art because he's an artiste. So, anyways,
Yeah,
that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, no statues this time, just sewing needles and goo.
Oh.
But yeah, so they're throwing a little bit of that again. The Mayor Wilson Fisk stuff is in there too, but they also are bringing in characters from the Mark Waid run, like his main love interest in the show. But then we'll see what they're gonna do with the Punisher and with White Tiger. Like there's so much happening.
Are-
Bullseye is back.
Are we
Mhm.
worried about too much happening?
I
Or
don't.
is it how long is it? Do we know how many episodes?
9 episodes.
18.
Well,
Oh,
it was 18, but then
Isn't
they
it
cut it down
18?
to 9. Mm-mm.
Oh,
When they originally
Oh.
announced it, it was 18 episodes, and then they did the rework, and they said it was still going to be 18 episodes that they were going to cut into 9 and 9, and then they removed the other 9, so it's just 9 episodes. And they were
okay.
originally going to release it all at one time, but now they're doing it weekly, which I've got feelings on. But yeah, I'm excited for it. But kind of go back to your question. It could be too much, but if they're just taking a little bit from each and they're able to weave a coherent story through it, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what it looks like.
Right on. Yeah, it looks fun. I like the trailer. I just didn't recognize the Muse character.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I'm excited to see all my favorite characters from that Netflix show. Any word on Jessica Jones or Luke Cage appearing?
Only
Iron
like
Fist?
the rumor mill. Yeah. Only the like the rumors swirling around, but nothing concrete yet. I want to see Luke Cage. That's the one
Right.
that I want to see. I want, because his story, like especially now if they're going with Wilson Fisk as the mayor and not like a kingpin anymore. Last time we saw Luke Cage, he was kind of a kingpin of Harlem, so like that would be great to just bring him back in, because like they nailed the casting with, I think, with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Matt Murdock, like out the gate. They did
Yeah,
it
they were pretty great.
perfect. So just bring them back and just roll with it. But again, nothing official, nothing confirmed or anything. Ryan, what did you think?
I'm very excited. I'm super stoked originally when they decided to bring the Netflix people into the main storyline, and I'm excited for more. What do you think about this villain? And tell me more about this villain.
So I don't know if it's a misdirect, because he was a big villain in the Charles Soule stuff, but it really tied in with like Daredevil's apprentice Blindside, more so than Daredevil. I mean, he was obviously involved. They were both kind of fighting with him, but he was more attached, from what I recollect, to Blind Spot and his kind of origin story. So I don't know if it's more of a misdirect that he could only be in 2 episodes and they just kind of, work through it and get him out. And then Bullseye, because I think Bullseye being in it is going to be between Wilson Fisk and Bullseye. I think they're the big bads in the show. But again, Muse is a really cool character. They're bringing him back. They brought him back in the last issue of the newest run, Ahmed's run of Daredevil. But it's a little, I don't know what to think of it yet, because they killed him. Like he was dead in the comics, and then now he's like communicating while he's in hell. It's a thing. We'll have to see how it plays out. But Muse is a really cool character, just like in concept. But I do think, I have the feeling that he might kind of be a misdirect in the trailers, where Bullseye is going to be the big
Do
bad.
you was Muse in was he in any of the Elektra comics, or am I mixing up him? I might be mixing him up with someone else, but
I think they were in some comics together, but I don't think he was ever in like one of the Elektra standalone or
in one of hers
her
that you
Woman
let me
Without
borrow.
Fear one. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, definitely not in those ones.
Okay. There was just, I remember there was a similar, not similar, but like a villain that was just really creepy. So I was just trying to remember. That was too long ago.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. This should, again, I'm the target audience for this, so I cannot be trusted.
Well, that's like the same with me. I'm like, even if it sucks, I'm gonna love it.
Oh man. Okay. So next, let's go on to Ryan's favorite Star Wars show of all time. We got the finale of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. So Marley, have you been watching Skeleton Crew?
No, I haven't, but you are welcome to talk freely.
Okay. And I know Andrew, am I the only one that finished it, or did you finish it as well, Ryan?
I finished it.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know what to say.
Well, you got your feelings out last time. Did the finale change? No? Okay. Just more of the same for you?
Yeah.
You felt it was lackluster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it, and I'm really happy about all the people that do like it. And it's just not for me. A pirate's life is not for me.
Ryan is not a space pirate. I like the way it ended. I've liked the whole series. It's been fun. Again, it's not like my favorite piece of Star Wars material to ever come out.
Specifically that you liked about it?
I like the space pirate stuff. Like I love stuff like Treasure Island and Treasure Planet and stuff like that. So this felt in that vein. Again with a little sprinkling of Goonies and Stranger Things, you know, coming of age type stuff. I really liked that.
So they're gonna go look at a dead body or whatever, and they walk on the train tracks.
Yes.
Star Wars by Me, I think it's called.
Yep, yeah. That's it. There was I'm trying Neil, the Neil character. It was when they go to a planet that's just like their planet, but opposite, or like it got something happened there and there's like warring factions on there. The stuff between Neil, the little elephant guy, and like the badass soldier girl of the tribe that was there, I thought was really awesome, because she's like this, you know, she's this big tough fighter, and he's just like, you know, you don't like, he was explaining a way of solving things peacefully, like in a very kids mentality. Like, why didn't you just talk to him? Like, why do you guys have to kill each other? And it was just like, it was refreshing. It was nice to see a little bit of optimism, you know? But it was until the very last episode that I realized that Nick Frost did the voice of SM-33. You know him.
Shmee?
Yep. You'll know him from most of the Simon Pegg movies. He's the his buddy in Shaun of the Dead and Paul and stuff like that. But yeah, well, I actually watched the the credits at the end of it, and I was like, it was Nick Frost the whole time. I didn't know that. I like that guy
on Doctor Who a million years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. The kids that were annoying the whole time continued to be annoying the whole time. The kids that weren't annoying at all were, you know, genuine.
Which ones weren't annoying other than Neil?
Neil and KB. Neil and KB.
Okay, I liked KB for the most part.
There was one where they
Except
had
KB's fuse was stupid.
Right. Yeah, it was that was stupid, but the conversation it led to, I thought was
KB had a fuse. What are you talking?
She's got augments.
She has what?
Yeah.
Please explain.
She has the cybernetic implant. She's a
Lobot.
Lobot. Thank you.
Yeah.
She's a Lobot. And at one point, she gets corroded from steam. And
It was mud, wasn't it? Oh no, it was steam. It was
no, it
steam.
was
You're right.
steam.
Like immediately
And-
corroded?
Yeah, like
Was it chlorine?
instantaneously, not-
What,
not
how did it?
instantaneously.
I said it. It's fine. Sorry.
And then they have to make a new fuse. And what the fuse is just a metal cylinder. And so they take the rusted cylinder out, and she just takes, but she can operate without the cylinder. So they take the rusted cylinder out, and she just sticks it in the sand to make a mold for the cylinder. And then they just pour molten metal in the mold, and then take it out and pop it in, and then she's fine.
Hey, listen, we're in a universe where there's space wizards. I'll accept that.
No.
But my favorite thing about that is the conversation that it led to.
Of course, loved that part.
That was
They didn't need a
amazing.
fuse for that.
She so it's KB and Fern, and they always are, they're always together, they always have the same decisions, but then Fern decides she's like, let's just climb up this cliff, and KB for the first time in the whole series says like, no, we're not going to do that, which
First time in her whole life.
yeah, which leads to this really in-depth conversation that KB's is trying to tell Fern that like she physically can't do all of the things that Fern can do. And she doesn't want to disappoint her friend by saying she can't do something some way because she's different. And Fern like comes to the realization, and it basically says, okay, you're right. I'm thinking everyone can do what I can do, and that's not the right way to think about stuff. I'll do better in the future. And I was like, that's a great conversation for kids to have at that point in their lives. I was like, that was great. So, yeah, she made a cylinder she made a spare part out of sand by drawing a circle. But, I thought it ended up, it was something that I looked over.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. I'm usually fine with my suspension of disbelief, but I wasn't that into it, and then also
right,
they called it a fuse, and I'm like, the engineer in me was like, no.
Like,
and I tried, and I really wanted to like the show.
was this a not my Flash moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marley, if you don't know that story we went and saw, was it Batman Superman?
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. And Ezra Miller Flash shows up, and it's quiet in the theater, and I go, nope. I knew it right then. I said, no.
You're a Grant Gustin Flash fan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I like Grant
I
Gustin
watched
too.
that for longer than it deserved.
Same. I don't think I actually ended up finishing it though.
Nope.
It's good that you didn't.
I think I
what I
watched
hear.
it up until a lot of the Legends of Tomorrow stuff, when Legends of Tomorrow started to weave into it. And I loved Legends of Tomorrow, especially when Constantine showed up. That was great. And then with dinosaurs, it was awesome.
Yes, Legends of Tomorrow was peak.
I liked the crossover stuff, but at that point they already bombed with Arrow, because Arrow was my favorite for a long time. And then everything just got weird and not great, and I just eventually stopped watching all of them. I did watch Supergirl for a bit too, though.
Same here.
Mm-hmm. I like when you were just talking about Arrow, and it made me think of back when Iron Fist came out, and there were a ton of people, saying that, Iron Fist is garbage, Iron Fist is bad. And I was like, if Iron Fist was on the CW, it would be the best superhero show that the CW has ever done.
Oh, close. Yeah.
So
You're not wrong.
So I'm like, maybe give it a break. All right. Maybe
I'm not going to. Iron Fist is terrible.
I refuse.
You say whatever you want, but that's 12 episodes I'm not getting back or whatever.
The only redeeming quality from Iron Fist was, gosh, I can't remember the actor's name all of a sudden, but he plays Faramir in Lord of the Rings. And
Right.
he's like the bad guy in Iron Fist or something. I don't know, he's
the dad that got Danny's parents killed.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, he's the only redeeming quality from that show.
Oh, come on, Colleen Wing was awesome.
I love Colleen.
Didn't they
Wing.
make her Iron Fist by the end?
Uh-huh.
They should.
Yeah, they should.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. They're like, all right,
She could
Colleen
fight,
does it.
right?
She should have done it from the beginning.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That was great. Okay. Sad news. Director, writer, producer, filmmaker David Lynch passed away. And he's done. He did the original Dune. Twin Peaks is really what I remember him from the most. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys, kind of like, what you thought of David Lynch's work, maybe some of your favorite stuff. So yeah, whoever wants to go, just jump in.
Oh yeah, I've been a fan of David Lynch since I was a kid. We used to watch Twin Peaks all the time when it was new, and then I remember watching The Elephant Man too young.
Not old enough for that.
Not old enough when I first saw that one. But but I've been a David Lynch fan for years. Loved all of his stuff. I like the more surreal, fantastic stuff. He has a little 15-minute movie on Netflix where he's arguing with a monkey. He's arresting a monkey, and the monkey has like a composited mouth over it, and it's arguing back, and it's fantastic. It's pure David Lynch. It's really quite good. I think there's like 3 actors in the whole thing.
It's on Netflix, and it's called What Did Jack Do?
Right. Yeah, check that out if you haven't already, gang.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Ryan, do you have any?
That Dune is probably the thing that I associate with him the most, and that is a terribly awesome movie. It's so good in many ways and so bad in so many ways, but I love that movie, and it's always dear to my heart.
Has an amazing cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was really cool, because I listened to Patrick Stewart's memoirs recently, and that was like the first US gig he got, and he had a lot of things to say about it, and that was really interesting to have his like perspective of being in that first Dune movie, and like that kind of was neat to have to hear. But yeah, that Dune movie was really like kind of influential for me. Is like one of the first sci-fi things that I remember really digging. And it's weird that little kid Ryan really liked Dune because it's a boring ass movie.
The visuals are really great though, and it's like most of David Lynch movies, very dreamlike, and it has a tendency to stay with you. And so, yeah, I really liked the Dune movies. They used to play midnight movies on, what was it? Disney Channel, I think, would play the director's cut, like the full 3.5 hour version, where it's got all the history intro with the robots and stuff. Yeah, I used to just put that on and fall asleep to it. It's terrific.
Marley, do you have any? I'm not sure if you've jumped into too much David Lynch.
I really haven't, but I was actually talking to my boss earlier today about Twin Peaks. She has been binging it over the weekend, and I don't know, it kind of seems up my alley. So I might binge that next, because I actually am in between shows at the moment.
Have you ever watched the X-Files, Marley?
Like an episode here or there.
Okay. Twin Peaks was very influential in the creation of that. And so
Twin Peaks came first?
Yes. And so watching those in that order would be good.
Gotcha. My only other thought about David Lynch is because I had to Google him when when we found out he had passed away. I was like, oh, remind me who that is. So I Googled him. He has a great head of hair. Oh my gosh.
Right? We should all be so lucky.
Like I don't think that's a toupee or like hair plugs or anything. I think that's natural.
He's
I
got
think
the
it is.
Captain Pike hair.
Right? And it's
Yeah,
like
he
just
does.
Yeah.
Like he is a very handsome guy. Wow. Anyways, so yeah.
Man. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about before we talk about what we've been reading is I wanted to find out what your guys's say Mount Rushmore of comic book authors and writers would be, and I'll let someone else go first. I just my view on it when I was putting mine together was authors that I actually have read a lot. Like I've read Stan Lee, but I haven't read tomes of Stan Lee or anything like that. So that was just kind of the way that I looked at it. But yeah, whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. I kind of just viewed the question as like twofold. The first two I had are like the people whose works had the most influence on me as far as comic book writers go, which is pretty easy to guess. And then the next two are like people whose work, like the next one is the person whose work I'm most fond of. And then last one is like the newest. So the first two are like Chris Claremont and Louise Simonson, because that is a lot of how I view the world and how comic books are experienced with me or their work. So that's like a lot of the early X-Men series and all of that stuff. They built that. And then kind of when I got back into comics very first, my favorite series that was at the time that I was doing it was Peter David's run on X Factor. And I really, really like Peter David, and I've read more of his stuff, and I like everything that he's written. Like I've not read something that I didn't like of his. And so he's like one of my most fondest writers, and I'm so excited. He came to one of the early Salt Lake conventions, and he's just in a little space by himself. Nobody knew he was there, and so I got to have like a really neat conversation with him. And I brought the issue where because he canonized Longshot and Shatterstar and Richter's like relationship. And so I brought the issue where they kiss for the very first time and like had him sign it. And I was like, this was really cool to me. And I like got to explain like what that meant to me and kind of stuff. And that was really cool to have that conversation with him. And then the most recent one that I would put up there that I just was recently introduced with X-Men stuff and started reading more of him was Jonathan Hickman. Like I really like his writing style and I really like complex, thick, dense stories, and he's really good at that kind of stuff. So I kind of liked that work.
Andrew loves Hickman, right, Andrew?
I know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, that's good. Andrew.
Oh, there was a writer that stood out to me that once I finally started looking into what comics they had written, I was like, oh, I've been a fan for years. Was one of those writers was Steve Englehart. And he's known for lengthy runs on Batman, Captain America, Defenders, things like that. And turns out I'd been a fan for years. He's responsible for bringing back the 50s Cap and kind of tying up continuity, things like that. He also did a rewrite on the 89 Batman movie, introducing characters that he created for Batman into the movie that they later renamed. Like Rupert Thorne was supposed to be the original, but it was Boss Grissom. And then Vicky Vale in the comics is a redhead, but Kim Basinger looks remarkably alike to Silver St. Cloud,
Okay.
who was another character from his Batman. And so Steve Englehart was a big influence on me. Alan Moore, Jim Starlin, certainly. Like Ryan said, Chris Claremont, Louis Simonson, big influence. Peter David also with his lengthy runs on X Factor and the Hulk. So, yeah. I was also a big fan of the Spider-Man stuff. Who wrote those? Oh, crap. Well, this guy might know. It's, you know what? It might have been Jerry Conway that was writing the stuff I really like. So Jerry Conway on Spider-Man, the late 70s, the early 70s stuff.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go next. So mine is Mark Waid is one that I have had on there. I've read so much of his stuff between Daredevil and Kingdom Come and some of his other DC stuff and his stuff with Rocketeer. Loved it. Chris Claremont's on my list as well for reasons everyone has said. Frank Miller is another one because of the Daredevil stuff, obviously. And I did put Bendis on my list because when he is when he's writing his best, it's some of my favorite stuff ever. It does kind of do this thing. But yeah, no, I really like his stuff. I like his events when they hit. So that's mine.
Perfect. My turn.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It should come as no surprise that mine are. I have two of the same ones as you do, Luke, because I have I don't have nearly as many comics as you guys, or as read nearly as many, but like 90% of my comic collection is Daredevil comics. And I chose Frank Miller as well because I was looking through my comics right before this to see who all I had, right? Because I'm sorry, I should pay better attention to authors and even artists on these, but sometimes I don't. But yeah, I really liked, I have a few of them by Frank Miller, so I really like him. And then Brian Michael Bendis, I was going to mention him too. And I was just reading online too to see kind of what other ones he's done. And he's just, yes, he was like a major Daredevil author, but like he's also done a lot of like Avengers, which I appreciate because I love the Avengers. And then the other one I'm just going to mention, because I also have Guardian Devil, the Marvel Knights one by Kevin Smith does that one. So I'd probably pick Kevin Smith, which did he co-write that one? Or no, that was the penciler. Joe Quesada.
Quesada, yep.
Quesada.
He wrote the whole Guardian Devil stuff.
So yeah, and I really liked this story, like, because this was the first, Guardian Devil was actually like the first full Daredevil comic that I read, especially like after seeing the Netflix show. It was just kind of my, I just wanted to get a Daredevil comic. I was visiting Mile High Comics in Denver for the first time and like had never bought a comic before. I knew I liked comic books and comic book characters and stuff, but I was like, I know which one I need to get, and I need to find a Daredevil comic. So I found that one, and that's just the one I picked without even like really knowing anything about it. But I appreciated the story and just getting like a little bit different version of Daredevil than what I was used to. So it just kind of helped, I guess, open that door to finding like other stories of Daredevil and like I said, 90% of my collection is of that character. So
Yeah. If you
yeah.
like Catholic guilt, Matt Murdock, the Guardian Kevin Smith is where to go.
Right. But I did like it. I did like it. So yeah, those are my three. I couldn't think of another one.
I think like honorable mentions, like obviously Stan Lee with the foundations of a lot of the stuff is up there. Andrew, what do you how do you feel about Chip Zdarsky? Oh, we can anybody else hear him? I can
No.
vaguely hear him.
How about now?
Excellent.
Yay, I'm back, everybody. Marvelous. All right. So I'm a big fan of Chip Zdarsky. He wrote probably my favorite Spider-Man comic in the last couple years. It was his last issue on the run, and it was both perfectly Spider-Man and heartbreaking at the same time. It was beautiful. I was brought to felty tears. But he also had great runs on Sex Criminals and Howard the Duck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah. He's on my honorable mentions because between his Daredevil, Batman, Howard the Duck, Sex Criminals, and it's just like, it's one of those things I was like, is he a better artist or a better writer?
They can do both. Alan Davis is one of those guys that can do both really well.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Starlin too.
Yeah, and because I loved his art, and that's what that's him first popping up on my radar was his art, and then it was like, oh, he's gonna write now, and it happened to be right after I actually met him. It was like 6 months after that they announced that he was doing I think it was Howard the Duck. One of his first writing jobs for Marvel, and I was like, well, that's awesome, and it's excellent. This is great. You like to see nice things happen to nice people, so I'm like yeah, keep going, Chip. I did see he is ending his Batman run. I think next month is his last issue. So I'm interested to see where he's gonna jump to next, or if he's gonna go hang out with his buddies Matt Fraction and Kelly Sue and just write TV stuff, or maybe he'll go do some creator-owned stuff. That would be cool too. I'd like to see what he comes up with. Does anyone else have maybe some honorable mentions that might not have made your top four, but kind of hang around up there?
Oh yeah, like John Byrne is one that pops into mind. Larry Hama. There's a lot of the greats. It's hard to pick just four.
Right. Yeah, it'll in either next week or the week after. I'd like to do artists because that one's going to be tough for me to just get four because I'm like, I love it all. So talented. But yeah. Okay. Who wants to start with what we've been reading?
Don't you typically start us off?
I'm gonna start. Okay.
Yeah.
So I picked up this week. I picked up all the latest of the Absolute DC runs: Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman.
And have you found it absolutely fabulous?
It's been absolutely absolute. So
like the vodka.
Yes. So the Batman one, the first issue was phenomenal. And Scott Snyder, he's good. He's good at what he does. He can write Batman very well. It's again a different take. I have enjoyed it. It has. He basically, instead of a Batmobile, he basically has a Batmo like side loader dump truck in this.
That must be easy to hide in a city.
It was literally part of a building, and he drove a part of the building away. And I was like, oh, okay. That's property damage Batman. But I've really liked the portrayal of Alfred in this. because Alfred isn't like his butler. He works for an agency, the CIA, FBI, something like that, some international agency.
EPA.
Yeah. He works at the DMV. But he is kind of directing Batman to solve the problems that he's been sent there to take care of, like these murders and this mob boss. He's kind of like a Jason Bourne hitman type guy. And then he sees Batman do it, and he's like, well, I'll just let him do it, and I'll give him clues to take out who I need to take out.
So does he still look like Deathstroke?
He looks like your standard Alfred with a big, like, bushy beard.
Oh.
Like Alan Moore beard. Like it's just this
Oh?
huge thing. It's interesting. So that's what I've been enjoying the most about Absolute Batman. Absolute Superman. Jason Aaron has been writing that one, and I like Jason Aaron. But yeah, this one's different. His so in Absolute Superman, his cape and his suit are kind of like, it's intelligent, like it talks to him.
Like
And his
Spawn.
and his cape is made of red Kryptonian dust. And so his cape does very Spawn like things. Now that you say it, that actually clicked in my head. But it's like protecting him and keeping him safe. And earlier like they keep doing flashbacks and they keep showing his mom wearing it. So it's like, I'm guessing, they haven't explained it. I'm guessing it's some kind of passing down of something that's going to keep her son safe.
Yes, Superman typically very vulnerable
Right.
without his suit.
Right. But yeah, and I think I said, I can't remember if I talked about it last time. Like the origin on this one is his dad and his mom aren't like members of like the science council. They're farmers. They're just kind of like low level, like middle management type people. Like one is a man.
They're
yeah.
like the Kents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of different. Like it's his dad challenging like the ruling class, and so they're kind of getting, their water ration for their farm is delayed because of the problems that the Kal-El's family is causing on Krypton. And yeah, he's kind of just going around and stopping the like oppression of like this. The one that they're using is like it's a diamond mine, and they keep overworking these people in the diamond mine where it's unhealthy for them. And he's just kind of going around the planet and helping people like that. So like you still get the Superman helping people aspect of it, but not that, grown up with in Kansas with, good old Midwestern values. It's a little bit different because he's fighting corporations basically is kind of what he's doing in this one. But then the last one, the one that I think I've been liking the most is Absolute Wonder Woman. I want to say it's Kelly Thompson is writing this one. And I think I like this one the most because it feels the most like Wonder Woman. Like her origins are different. Instead of being an Amazon, raised on Themyscira, she's Cersei's daughter who was raised in hell, on an island in hell. And so she knows magic. She knows like Cersei's magic, but she's also still like Wonder Woman. But it's her interactions with the outside world that are still very, very Wonder Woman. And she just, where people come up to her, saying, hey, like military guys are like, we can't listen to this lady. And she goes very calmly, I understand that you're thinking that way, but this is the information. And she very calmly and very directly lays out, like, this is the situation, this is how I can help you, and this is what I need you to do, and this is why I need you to do it. So there's no guessing, and by the end of the conversations, they're like, okay, All right. And that's that. I don't know. That's very Wonder Woman to me. Like she takes charge of the situation without screaming at everyone, without yelling at everyone. She doesn't belittle anyone. She explains the situation. She says, this is what's going to happen. This is how I'm going to help. And I'm doing this to protect you. Let's go do it. But yeah, seeing Wonder Woman with like doing magic, she has a magically enchanted arm because she had to sacrifice her arm to get Steve Trevor out of hell because he was there too. But it's been my favorite of the Absolute series, and I think because I believe it's only a 5-issue run of each of them. I believe when it's all said and done, I think Wonder Woman's going to end up being my favorite. But they're all interesting in their own ways, and I think if you're a fan of the character and you want maybe a different view or presentation of the character, it'll be perfect for you. But that is what I have been reading.
I'll go next.
Okay.
Surprise! I've been reading Daredevil.
No,
This is why we're friends.
It's not why we started a Daredevil podcast at all. But no, I've been reading the Born Again comic. I've read it once before. So like, oh gosh, was that back in 2022 when they first announced that they were doing the Born Again TV show?
Sounds about right.
Something like that. And I remember finding this comic and on like Amazon, like the not the Amazon, I don't know. I read it on my phone. So it was like a very small screen and I was like reading like a digital version is what I'm trying to say. And it was very, very like I was also just trying to read it really fast. And because we were going to be on a different podcast, we were going to be covering it and kind of speculating, is this going to be like the TV show? Or what are we going to see? But anyways, now that we actually have the release date for the Born Again series, I was like, well, I want to read this again just so it's more fresh in my mind. But I also just really like this one because like we see such a really sad, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other versions where we see a sad and broken Daredevil, but like this one, like it's not even just him, like it's Matt Murdock. Like Kingpin comes after him personally, not even just after Daredevil, but like he comes after Matt Murdock in the ways that like it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna beat him up and he's now gonna suffer physically. No, like he comes after like his apartment, his love life, like everything. He just like can tear him down from everything that's going on in his personal life and just basic needs. He does, like he cuts his phone, but like everything, like his bank account, everything is just reduced to like zero. And Matt is just very, very sad and trying to pick himself back up. And yeah, it's just a really interesting story. And I really hope that they do a bit more of this storyline in the Born Again TV show. I don't think they're going to, though. There might be a few themes in it.
The stuff with Karen.
I mean,
Yeah.
Stuff with Karen. I mean, do we think Karen's going to go off and be an actress
I don't know.
and become a heroin addict?
Actress.
Do you like how I said actress?
Actress.
Actress. But anyways, yeah, no, they're not going to do that to this Karen page. But yeah, no, I just like hearing these other stories of a character that I like learning more about and seeing and stuff. So, but yeah, the Born Again one, this one is a good one. I need to keep reading it though. I'm a little behind. So yeah, that's pretty much the only comic that I'm reading right now.
Okay. Ryan.
I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. Well, guess what? There's a Marvel Rivals tie-in comic. And so I started reading that, and it's great fun. So it just it gives you there's a story to Marvel Rivals game. It kind of starts that Doom of 2099 and Doom of the one of the other timelines start mucking around with magic and timeline stuff, and they wreck the multiverse. And there are two factions of heroes that are trying to fix it, and they have opposing ideologies of what to do to fix it. And so that's what's causing the rivalry part, is that this group of heroes thinks that solution A is the best, and this group of heroes thinks solution B is the best, and so they are competing and to try to implement their solution because they think the other one isn't going to work. Hence the battles. So the comic book kind of goes through each of the locations in the game and kind of describes what's happening and why stuff's happening in those locations. My favorite part of the comic, so there's 2 issues. Favorite part of the comic so far is when Namor and Jeff meet. Namor sees the kindred spirit in Jeff the Land Shark, and that they're both creatures from the land and the sea, but not part of either, and not accepted by either world. So why try to be accepted? And he has like this like Darth Vader Luke moment where he's like, Jeff, join me and we can rule together. And it's great. Jeff's reaction is fantastic.
Oh, does he have like a Samwise Gamgee vision of turning all the world into a buffet or something?
The first is just a full spread panel of Jeff sitting there like a puppy dog, like his tongue wagging out, like just like staring up at him. And then the next is turn the page, and it's another full page panel of Jeff in the same pose, but with a maniacal evil shark teeth grin.
Nice.
It's perfect.
Love Jeff.
Yeah. So recommend that comic if you are playing the Marvel Rivals, because it is also, it enhances the wackiness and fun.
That's awesome. I believe they did some comic tie-ins like with Overwatch and stuff that kind of did the same thing. So I'm really glad that they're doing it with Marvel Rivals.
There's also a lot of story if you're interested, like, because I'm such a nerd. There's a lot of story content buried in the game itself. Like each hero has like a story page, kind of the brief overview of which reality and what their history is. And then they have a story, like a straight up like prose form, a few paragraphs of a story snippet from them to kind of give you context about who they are and what they're doing. So there's a lot of reading in the game if you choose to do so. And a lot of the heroes are not who you think they are. Like Iron Fist is not Danny Rand, and Psylocke is not Betsy Braddock. And I think maybe we talked about that last time, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that honestly, I think that's kind of an important aspect of a game that doesn't have a story mode, right? Like a narrative story mode. You have to get the narrative throughout playing and interacting with other players, which is, I think that's because if it's not that, it's just bland.
Almost every time because there's the as you queue in the game, there's a little lobby that all the characters are in for like 10 to 30 seconds, depending on how fast you load into the game before the doors open, and then you're in the playing area and killing each other. And the characters have unique dialogues depending on who picked whose character and how they interact with each other, and they're funny, and they also give a lot of context. But every time that like we're loading up, like I am giggling, and the people that I'm playing with are like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "These lines are just so funny." And it's the characters that it's all really good, but all of those context clues are telling you what's going on in the world too. One of my favorite things that popped up on Instagram is there's this dude, and he's basically parroting the parodying the comic book guy from Simpsons.
Mhm.
But he's in his team chat and he's like calling out like stuff in the game, but he's like, oh, that's Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, because I keep up on the comics, and that's James Howlett, aka Logan, the guy he's coming up on our left, that's Wolverine, because I keep up on the comics, and like giving all this stuff, and his team's like, dude, shut up, you're so annoying. It's great. I was like, oh, good thing I'm not on the voice chat all the time in the game. The random strangers.
I saw an Instagram reel of someone that was playing as Spider-Man and went all the way up to where the other team was at behind the doors and was telling the rest of his team who was there. He's like, all right, they got an Iron Fist, they got a Jeff, they got a... And I was like, guy's thinking. But yeah, do you guys have anything else before we do some plugs and wrap everything up? No? Okay. Marley, plug our show that you already plugged. Do it again.
I will do it again. Yeah, Heroes of Hell's Kitchen. We're recapping Daredevil and some other things that Daredevil has been in, such as like The Defenders and other cameos. And we're getting ready to... We're just speed running through it so that we can have everything ready in time for March 4th when Born Again comes out. So make sure you check us out wherever you find podcasts. We're on Instagram at heroes_of_Hell's Kitchen. So yeah, if you like Daredevil as much as we do, or even a little bit, still come check us out.
And Andrew?
Yeah, so you can find Chris and my work ValidityStudios.com and on Whatnot every Monday. Chris is doing live drawing. You can come and see us there, and we will very soon have the trade paperback for The Gull ready to go and
very excited,
ready for your crowdfunding assistance. And so
Nice.
Look for that, and you'll hear from me first about that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Go ahead and, go on our Facebook, on our Instagram. You got any comments, questions, please put them out there and we will discuss them on the show. But yeah, thanks for listening. And Ryan,
Don't forget to subscribe.
you may now exit the dome. Quick, Marley, come up with a witty sign off.
Bye, Felicia.
Perfect.
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say here.
Hey,
Oh,
Mike.
shit, I did it out of order.
I could see the whole time. All right, we're going to end this. It's over.
Who are you?
See you guys
people?
next time.